All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a classic moral dilemma through the lens of a really popular animated story called Amanat. Now, I know what you might be thinking. It's a children's cartoon, right? But honestly, don't let that fool you. This story tackles some incredibly profound ethical frameworks about found property, honesty, and, well, human temptation. It's actually a brilliant case study in how we justify our actions when we think nobody is watching. Let's get right into it.
So, I want you to honestly ask yourself, what would you do if you found a wallet completely stuffed with money? Just imagine it for a second. You're walking down the street, it's been a long day, you're stressed out, and you look down. Bam! Right there on the pavement is this thick, heavy wallet just bursting with cash. And there is absolutely no one around. The street is totally empty. What is your very first gut reaction thought? We all have that finders keepers mentality deeply ingrained in us, don't we? That sudden jolt of dopamine makes it incredibly hard to think clearly. And honestly, this exact scenario is right where our story kicks off.
Meet Saad. He is having a rough morning. He's running super late for school, rushing to get his chores done, like taking out the trash, the usual stuff. And he is just exhausted. But then, right in the middle of all that mundane stress, he literally stumbles upon a dropped wallet packed with cash. The shift from everyday fatigue to absolute euphoria is instant. Suddenly, his tiredness just vanishes. The temptation of this found wealth completely overrides his daily routine, and that sets the stage for our central conflict.
And what's so relatable here is Sode's immediate reaction. He doesn't pause to think about who might be frantically looking for this money. Nope. His first instinct is to gather his friends and blow the cash on a massive junk food feast. I mean, look at this plan. Meet up after the Asr prayer, order 2 pizzas, 2 burgers, 2 portions of french fries, the whole shebang. It perfectly captures how a sudden windfall triggers that intense desire for instant gratification. Let's be real, we all have our own adult version of this pizza and burger celebration when we hit a stroke of luck. But every great story needs a little conflict, and that arrives in the form of Saad's friend, Saad. Just as the boys are gathering around, practically drooling, getting ready to place this massive food order, Saad hits the pause button on the entire celebration. He asks the one uncomfortable, sobering question that completely bursts their bubble. Where exactly did the funds for this party come from? He essentially forces them to look past their empty stomachs and actually confront the origin of their sudden wealth. This moment brilliantly captures the sudden cognitive dissonance Saad is dealing with. On one hand, you've got the pure, unadulterated joy of party time. Bring on the pizzas and the fries. But on the other hand, there's the heavy anchor of ethical reality. Saad points out a fundamental truth here. Just because you find something on the ground, that doesn't magically transfer ownership to you. It's not your money to spend. Someone out there lost it, and the universe didn't just drop it in Saad's lap to buy snacks. Naturally, Saad tries to defend himself with that classic rationalization we all use. He's like, hey, I didn't steal it. It was just lying there on the ground. But Saad's response is uncompromising. He says that taking what belongs to someone else without permission is equivalent to stealing. Wow. That completely obliterates the gray area we love to hide in, doesn't it? It challenges that whole finders keepers, losers weepers playground logic and replaces it with a strict, unyielding moral boundary. So this disagreement isn't just about a canceled fast food run anymore. It introduces a core ethical concept that actually governs how we interact with society. And this brings us to the titular theme of the story. The narrative completely pivots from a simple squabble between friends into a really deep lesson about social responsibility and spiritual integrity. That concept is Amanat. Broadly translating to trust, it's the ethical and religious obligation to be completely honest and to fiercely guard what belongs to someone else. Basically, it means that when you find a lost item, or even when someone just entrusts you with their property, you are temporarily appointed as its guardian. You don't own it, you're just holding it in trust. It's the ultimate moral framework dictating that we have to act with integrity, especially, and this is key, especially when no one else is watching. Okay, so the theory of Amanat is beautiful on paper, right? But how do we actually apply it when we're standing there holding a wallet full of cash? Well, the story doesn't just leave us hanging with abstract philosophy. Saad shares a highly practical, structured protocol based on the teachings of Prophet Muhammad. This protocol is specifically designed to take all the guesswork and emotional temptation completely out of the equation, replacing it with a clear flowchart of exactly what you have to do. Here is how that protocol breaks down. Step 1, you have to actively try to find the original owner. Look for an ID, ask around the area. Step 2, if you can't find them yourself, you escalate it. You hand it over to a responsible, highly visible community figure. In the context of this story, that's the local mosque imam, who obviously has a much better chance of broadcasting the lost item. And finally, step 3, if absolutely nobody claims it after a long period of time, guess what? It still doesn't become yours. It gets donated to the poorest sadaqah or charity. The absolute most crucial takeaway here is that at no point in this entire ethical flowchart does the finder ever get to keep the money for themselves. And just to really drive this point home, the story gives us a definitive warning. Keeping found wealth without performing any due diligence or investigation is unequivocally wrong. You can't just turn a blind eye, quietly pocket the cash, and pretend you didn't have a responsibility to search for the owner. Ignorance is definitely not an excuse here. The act of keeping it without making a genuine, real effort to return it is a direct violation of that sacred trust, that amanah.
As we reach the resolution of our explainer today, we see this beautiful moral awakening in Saud. The temptation is finally broken. He realizes the gravity of his near mistake, totally abandons the plans for the feast, and immediately resolves to take the wallet straight to the imam. This moment highlights a really powerful connection. Practicing Amanat isn't just about being a good citizen, it's a direct reflection of your spiritual health. Honesty and true faith are shown to be completely inseparable.
Let's break down this final takeaway a bit more. When you uphold Amanat, when you maintain that trust, it actively strengthens your faith. The result? Divine pleasure, a perfectly clean conscience, and real peace of mind. Conversely, claiming others' property goes entirely against honesty. It's fundamentally wrong, and it is destructive to your character. It's a zero-sum game, really. You simply cannot possess true integrity if you're willing to compromise your morals the second you find a free dollar on the ground.
Which brings us to our final thought. The dropped wallet in this cartoon, it's really just a metaphor. Every single day, we are handed different types of amanat. Maybe it's a piece of confidential information a friend shared in secret, or maybe it's company time we're being paid for, or sure, maybe it's a lost item on the street. So I'll leave you with this. How well do you guard the amanat in your own life? When the universe hands you an opportunity to benefit quietly at someone else's expense, what do you actually do? Thanks so much for joining me to explore this incredible framework today. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you next time.